Krakow. Welcome to Krakow, the city of Polish kings and bishops, the center of culture and art, a university center and a magic place. Welcome to the city which was called Altera Roma, or Florence of the North, regarding its cultural and religious heritage. The ancient capital of Poland is nowadays the cultural and spiritual center of Poland, a place where history meets with modern business. Krakow is famous for its festivals, events, concerts, and theater performances, attracting tourists from all over the world. This is the second largest city in Poland, famous not only as a center of tradition and culture, but also as a symbol of youth as a result of being a university center. The oldest university was founded in the 14th century, and today there are almost 150,000 students in Krakow. In 2007, Krakow was visited by 9 million tourists and was proclaimed one of the hottest destinations in Europe. But it is still a quiet place, a magic city which attracts artists. According to legend, one of the chakra stones, a source of divine energy, is in Krakow. Krakow is a city famous for its nightlife. There are almost 800 pubs and restaurants, but with almost 120 churches, it's also a religious center, the city of John Paul II. Visiting Krakow, we will see places related to the history of Poland and Europe, traces of cultural influences, as well as magical and legendary places. According to one legend, Krakow was founded along the Vistula River by the legendary ruler of this place, Prince Krak, hence the name of the city. But in fact, this place was chosen by one of the Slavic tribes as a perfect area to found a town because of its strategic position. That is why here, on top of a limestone hill by the river, they decided to settle and build a city. Today, the Wawel Hill doesn't seem to be very high, but in the past, it was the highest hill in the area and was full of caves. In one of the caves, there was a dragon which used to eat one virgin a day. Of course, this was a great problem, but fortunately, the monster was killed by a shoemaker named Skuba. From the top of the hill, the prince's daughter Wanda, who didn't want to marry the German prince Rüdiger, jumped into the river. Rüdiger threatened Krakow with attack, but thanks to the pleading of the princess, the city was saved, and the German prince committed suicide. As a sacrifice, Wanda gave her life. To pay homage to Wanda, the citizens of Krakow built a mound. In 1890, a monument was placed on top of this mound. It is one of 5 mounds in Krakow. The 2 oldest of these, Wanda's and Krak's mounds, were probably related to solar beliefs. From the top of the Wawel Hill, we can see another hill built to commemorate Tadeusz Kościuszko, the Polish-American hero, and there is one more dedicated to Józef Pilsudski, the first Prime Minister of Poland after World War I. The last hill was created to commemorate John Paul II, the Polish Pope. You will get to know more of the legends about this gorgeous city, along with more facts showing its interesting history and tradition. Before we start our tour, we would like to present you with a few important facts from history. Krakow, the medieval capital of Poland, was mentioned for the first time in 965 by a Jewish merchant from Spain called Ibrahim ibn Yaqub. During this time, Krakow changed to be an important crossroads for commercial trade routes. Thanks to King Władysław Łokietek, Krakow was the seat of Polish rulers from the 14th century, and the last coronation took place here in 1734. The cathedral continued to be a coronation and funeral place for Polish kings and queens, even when King Zygmunt III Waza transferred the capital of Poland to Warsaw. For centuries, Krakow's cathedral acted as a coronation, funeral, and trophy place. This is why it became the symbol of Polish history, culture, and tradition. Nowadays, it is our national pantheon, full of traces of Polish history and funeral monuments to kings, bishops, heroes, and poets. One of the most flourishing times for Krakow was in the 14th century, the time of the rule of Kazimierz Wielki, founder of many churches, the first academy in 1364, and a new city, which today is Krakow's Kazimierz district. The second very important period for Krakow was the 16th century, during the Renaissance. This was the time of the rule of kings of the Jagiellonian dynasty. King Zygmunt's wife was Bona Sforza from Milan, And this is why there were Italian artists in Krakow. Most of the palaces and churches founded at this time were inspired by Italian architecture. During the so-called partition period, when Poland was divided by Austria, Russia, and Prussia and lost its independence for 123 years until the end of World War II, Krakow was part of the Austrian Empire. We can still find Austro-Hungarian influences here. On the 31st of October 1918, Krakow was liberated as the first Polish city, and this was the beginning of the history of the new independent state of Poland. During World War II, the Nazis created the so-called general government from central and southern Poland, and Krakow became the headquarters of Governor General Hans Frank. After the war, during the communist period, Krakow was one of the main centers of resistance. The new political system was criticized by professors of universities, actors, and artists, and was mocked in cabarets. Nowadays, Krakow is one of the hottest destinations in Poland. What attracts tourists is not only the cultural heritage, but also events, festivals, and concerts. Being the second largest city in Poland, with almost 750,000 inhabitants, Krakow is one of the largest university centers. Welcome to Krakow, the Magic City.